Hey everybody, this is Brent Coble. We are on stage 1 here at YouTube Space LA, and I am sitting down with the director of Moon, Source Code, and most notably and latest, Warcraft, the movie, Duncan Jones.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome. This is your first time at YouTube Space LA,
It really
right?
is, yeah.
What is your
absolutely.
first impression so far?
It's huge.
It's weird that we have a forest, right?
That was unexpected.
You would think it would just be sound stages, but nope, welcome. You've been busy.
I have, well, for 3.5 years on this thing, on Warcraft.
What is it like to take something like Warcraft and try to envision that into a proper feature film? I mean, it's a
challenge. I mean, we've, you know, I was a fan of Warcraft since the start of Warcraft 20 years ago. You know, I think there's obviously been an interesting track record of films based on computer games, and I liked the opportunity to maybe try and correct a long-held wrong.
You were coming in with the intentions of combo breaker.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about time. So hopefully we've done it. I
got to see the film, did not know what to expect, knew nothing of the world, and was totally blown away.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that. I mean, we kind of, you know, tried to approach it a bit like, you know, like Pixar would approach a movie where you've got the adults and then you've got the kids catered to. Not that I'm saying that either group are adults or kids, but if we can make it work for people who don't know anything about Warcraft, and then in a different way, on a different level, make it work for people who are fans of Warcraft, that's what we tried to do.
There's definitely some things in the film that the level of violence alone, you're not definitely just pandering to kids.
It's PG-13, and it's amazing what you can get away.
You got it held on for a bit. It was awesome to see how far you could push stuff. What's your approach? You said 3.5 years.
Yes,
Prepping, shooting, getting everything ready for this film.
Well, I mean, it's obviously massive special effects involved, and also just story-wise and trying to find a way to do the gymnastics like we talked about of catering to an audience who knows nothing about the Warcraft, and then also making sure that the fans felt that this was really a film where they felt like they were going home.
Coming from a video game where the player is controlling the camera, what was the approach for just finding the visual style of how you were going to tell the story? Because there were some shots in there that I've never seen before. You've
got to pay respect to the giants whose shoulders you are on.
Absolutely.
And with Warcraft, it's certainly Peter Jackson's initial trilogy for Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, and those films. But it's kind of interesting that science fiction films kind of have a whole bunch of different looks and different sort of styles, subgenres within science fiction. Fantasy seems to be kind of stale in some respects. Peter Jackson's films kind of set the bar, but no one's really run with it or tried variations. So for us, the idea was to, you know, take what Peter Jackson had done and try and find our own voice. And obviously, when you're working from Blizzard's work and artwork, it's a lot easier because they really do have some sort of a unique style and a unique take on fantasy. And we tried to just put that in the real world.
And you were putting the camera in some really wacky and interesting places. I mean, I don't want to give too much away. The movie hasn't come out yet. But there's a scene when someone, can we be that vague, comes out of a river. It's like a small moment in the film, but you put the camera like underneath, and I was just watching going, well, I've never seen that before. It was cool in a big spectacle film to still see like bold directorial choices, and that, you know, we're not just going to tell this in a really easy to understand visual language.
I was lucky. There was so much going on. There was so much craziness with the story and with the effects. I could sneak a lot of stuff in there, and people were like, okay, yeah, I guess you know what you're doing. And then you just pull it out.
It's totally fine.
So, but it's worked out, fortunately.
With that much visual effects, how much of what you're shooting on the day is totally and meticulously planned? Because you're about to hand this off to artists who are gonna, I mean, they need to know what they're in for. How does that leave spontaneity on the day to still find like, oh, we could grab this shot that no one has thought of yet, but might be that much better?
You'd be surprised, actually. You know, there's obviously going to be certain set pieces or certain camera moves where you just have to pre-plan them. You have to know exactly how you're going to pull the thing off. But because we built so many live-action sets, and they were all pretty massive and detailed, we were able to, you know, improv on the day a lot of the time. And a lot of the experience I had on Moon, my first film, where we did do a lot of improv, was to basically have kind of credits, and I would sort of deal with my VFX supervisor, and we'd sort of say, okay, I've got this many credits for this scene, so I'm going to spend them on this, this, and this. And it was almost like a little mini game shooting the film as far as how much, you know, how many effect shots I would be able to have and where I would use them and the complexity of those effect shots. So you really are are kind of playing 4D chess when you make a movie like this.
How does your AD and your producers on set feel when you go, no, I know we might not have time, but I'd love to just get this one, and they know you have X amount of shots on the day?
I'm fortunate I have a producing partner I've worked with for all of my films and commercials before that, and he's kind of used to how I work, so he's able to kind of work with myself and with the ADs and keep everyone calm.
So coming from Moon, amazing film, to Source Code, to Warcraft now, it seems like you are just setting the stage bigger and bigger and bigger.
No, it's kind of, all three of those films though have been puzzle-solving exercises. I mean, Moon was the puzzle-solving aspect of it was, how can I get an actor on his own, even performing with himself, and keep that going for a whole film, and that was kind of the puzzle challenge of it. Source Code was the idea of taking a small nugget of a story and telling it multiple times and keep it interesting each time. And Warcraft is just Warcraft. Yep. It's just it's a puzzle, to manage to pull that off. Blizzard and what they did with Warcraft really was to take what people are used to from Tolkien and sort of European folk tales and things like that of, the humans are the good guys, the monsters are the bad guys, and they put a twist on it, which is that everyone has their own story and everyone can be the hero. And that's what the gameplay is. You can play as Horde or Alliance, you can play as all sorts of creatures, and you see yourself as the hero. And to me, if that's the essence of the game Warcraft, that is at the very, is the most essential thing to bring across into the movie. The fact that the heroes are on both sides. So that was the pitch that I made when when I got the job, and that was the thing which I think everyone was enthusiastic about, and I feel very fortunate we carried that right through.
On the Warcraft set, was there anything that you saw finally come to life from the experience playing the game and in the immense amount of pre-production that you stood in front of it or in it? There's some amazing sets. Just went, I can't believe this is real.
Every stage of Warcraft, just because of the sheer scale of it, and the teams of people, it's incredibly talented people involved. Every stage was just, I can't believe that. That's fantastic. That's amazing. So whether it was the initial, 2D designs of the orcs and what they were going to look like based on the kind of, forgive me, but dinky kind of looking, orcs from the game into into the spectacle of what we put in the movie. So those first drawings by Wei Wang, who was the concept artist who did those, to the first delivery of weapons from Weta, who built all of our practical props, and the armor turning up, and then building the Lion's Pride, which is this tavern from the game, or building the streets of Stormwind, and we had like this huge section of city center that we built at full scale to shoot in. There was so many big, beautiful sets that we built for the film. Elwyn Forest. You have a little bit of a forest here.
Was more impressive than this?
A little bit bigger, a little bit.
What?
It was amazing. It was like a redwood forest made of oak trees. It was just huge scale. A lot of fun.
And all that just makes the job, well, I can't say easier, but it's got to be that much more fulfilling when every day feels like Christmas and you just have all this stuff.
Absolutely.
Is there any point during the shoot where you just take a look around and you're like, I need to do service to what has been given to me, because this is resting on my shoulders, and look at how incredible this is. Like, that's a lot of responsibility.
The thing that was the most crazy is you'd build one of these amazing sets, and then you'd know, okay, I'm shooting in here for 3 days, and then it all gets torn down. The fact that I went into Warcraft after having done Source Code, I think was essential. Because I think if I tried to jump into a film with this scale, with this many toys to play with, without having started to learn some kind of shooting discipline, I think you could get lost in the woods.
Yeah, that's a fair play. Well, Duncan, thank you so much for sitting down.
Thank you.
When can everybody see Warcraft? Tell us that one.
June 10th in the United States. June 10th.
Is a title. It's really big. Yeah, thanks so much for sitting.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You're a hand talker like I am.
I am, yeah. Well, you end up having to do this. Quite a bit. It's fun.
It's like we're casting spells.
Oh, we're on long lenses. Robert, this looks good, right? All out of focus and stuff? No? Looks terrible? All right, cool. Fair enough.